New Wadget Eye game comes out, I review it at the first opportunity, everybody acts surprised. And pretend that I either reviewed a Golden Week already or that it never came out, otherwise that joke doesn't work. Actually, calling this a Wadget Eye game doesn't feel exactly right. To me, that implies that Gilberts are at the helm, but the writer and designer credits on this one go to Francisco Gonzalez, formerly of Grundislav Games, and whose fingerprints are all over a Golden Week and the Ben Jordan series. Longtime artist Ben Chandler gets equal credit as well, and even if he hadn't written a line of dialogue or code, and he did do both of those things and more, it's a credit well deserved since he probably drew every damn thing in the game. But before we stray too far, what is that story? Well, I'm going to say words about it. 20 years ago it rained bombs instead of rain, and here's a ruined city. It's ruled by the aristocracy. They're a council of rulers who took the names of Roman emperors dressed like 17th century fops and have implemented a fairly contrasting class system. Also, their guards look like they're reenacting the American Civil War and have been known to act like it as well. Not so much in a LARPing way, more in a I wonder if this bayonet is sharp kind of way. The hot new trendy life-threatening disease in this world is green lung, so terrible that they have an entire quarantine zone in which to shove the advanced cases. See, there's a limited supply of vaccine controlled by the aforementioned aristocracy, meaning that the not so rich have to do lottery jobs to get a mere chance of winning either their own or somebody else's life back. For a while anyway, it's a temporary fix. One such lottery job involves reactivating a dangerous looking and sounding reactor, and one such lottery jobber is Amy, the lady what you play as. Getting to said reactor brings her into contact with a previous lottery jobber who's about half made of debris at this point. Before the rubble gets the pinfall and takes him out, he asks Amy to deliver a letter. But he only asks once he finds out who her father was. Intrigue! The world this game takes place in is built up steadily. The way people live and survive, how the aristocracy interferes with it and who resists those efforts, what remnants of the world we know have survived. I've got something of a soft spot for post-apocalyptic settings, and whilst there isn't a massive amount to differentiate it from the several thousand other examples, it does have a slant of its own. It's mostly the aristocracy looking a bit like extras from the Hunger Games and was irradiated shards of glowing green glass as a light source. On the other hand, it's been 20 years since Smashy Boom Boom, so a bit of recovery has happened. You'll spend a fair bit of time at this open market, meaning that a kind of economy is going, although it's mostly still bartering. In my limited experience, I've not encountered a whole lot of post-apoc fiction that looks beyond the immediate impact and into how society rebuilds and permanently adapts, rather than merely coping with the immediate crisis. On the other hand, there's these buggers who worship death, or the Reaper as they call him. Then again, this is exactly the kind of crapsack world where praying for the end is understandable. What seems to be the focus to me is the people, which has been one of Wadget Eye's strengths for some time. The way people rely on one another, how everyone helps and looks out for everyone else. That's how they not only survive, but how they lead anything close to a happy life. Or maybe I happen to be playing as a particularly popular character, I don't know. And pretty much everyone shares a hatred of the goddamn aristocracy. I mean, this clowny bastard named himself Tiberius. I can only assume a limited number of history books survived the falling of the bombs, otherwise he might know that things ended sort of not great for this guy kind of perhaps a bit. It's not a clear-cut case of good versus bad either. Everyone has their reasons for doing what they're doing, but it's all shades of grey. Difficult line to walk. One note heroes and villains can be as bland as all the sides meshing together into a grey goo of neutral alignment. I think they've walked it just fine here. There's sense to be made from both arguments, but it's up to your own interpretation, and you might find yourself picking a lesser evil. Or a not so lesser evil. Gotta get them chivos after all. All of this is undercut by a simple sounding but effective soundtrack which weaves traditional folk sounding music on a background of calm electronic compositions. As if to say, these are the only instruments we can still find, but we're also going to acknowledge the role of technology in this whole affair. And very well done it is. Not many tracks I'd listen to on their own though, it's a different type of music, but it fits the game as you play, which is its primary purpose when you think about it. So that's the game, here's the verdict. If you like point and click adventures, I think you'll like this. If you're in doubt, there's a free demo you can try. But here's the thing, this is a good game, I did enjoy it and I do think it's worth playing. However, it's a Wadget Eye game. It uses Ben Chandler's low-res pixel art style, it's well written, has commentary, bloopers, Steam achievements are back this time, demo available, minimum requirement of Windows ME, wait what? It's what we've come to expect from Wadget Eye. This is not a new formula, and whilst it isn't necessarily old yet, not for me at least, it can only be a matter of time. Therefore, instead of a 4-minute video recounting the plot in a snarky way followed by a recommendation to buy the damn thing, I'm going to suggest potential improvements they could make. These might be mere band-aids over the green lung, but it's better than pretending everything they put out is perfect in all the perfect ways. Number 1. We have an entire keyboard which we're pretty much ignoring apart from shortcuts for save game, load game and skip dialogue line. Not skip cutscene mind, right now you have to let those play out. There's also the separate key for the inventory I complain about almost every time I do one of these reviews. It would seriously improve the experience of playing in windowed mode for one thing. Maybe you had that experience of trying to get that sweet spot where the inventory appears versus molesting the title bar, it's not great. While we're in keyboard land, why not have one that shows all interactive objects? Pixel hunts are no fun, and even the hallowed Wadget Eye has had an object or two blend into the background. You'll have to work out something for the mobile crowd, but then again, these games run on just about any machine. They made their choice. Number 2, from keyboard land to mouse wheel land. The use of the mouse wheel is pretty inconsistent. Giant lump of text, mouse wheel works. List of save games, big ass buttons like it's 1994. There is mouse wheel support in AGS, that's the engine these games use, and the company has put it to use before, so unless it's extremely pernickety to get working, I don't see a reason why not. And to jump back a little bit, they could steal an idea from Daedalic and have the mouse wheel open the inventory. Now, those suggestions were the ones I thought would be the easiest to implement, something that could be coded up and forgotten about. The next few are going to take a bit of effort. Number 3, hint system. The work involved will vary on how deep you want to go with this, how many hints you want to give before you dump the solution on the player. But this is what stops players from alt-tabbing out to look at a walkthrough or giving up in frustration, which I imagine is not the intention of most developers. To be fair, anytime you have a companion in these games, they'll fulfill that role. To an extent. That extent being just before letting you actually skip a puzzle you simply can't get your head around. Happens to all of us on occasion. So they're part of the way there. Problem is, they not only need to write these hints, they'll need to keep track of exactly where the player is in the game in order to know which hint to display, which could very much mess with. Number 4, multiple solutions to puzzles and multiple paths. It's been shown to be possible since Fate of Atlantis, although that had the backing of LucasArts as opposed to, 4 people. I'd make a bigger deal out of this one, but those 4 people already did some multipath magic in Technobabylon, and Shardlight takes it a little further in that respect. There was even a bit of that way back in the opening to Blackwell Convergence. I feel that even the smaller changes make a big difference. Let the player make a choice, then later refer to it in a meaningful manner. Such a simple suggestion that they've already done it. Okay, I guess that one doesn't count. And one final suggestion which is too nitpicky to do without that big disclaimer. Going to put something up on the screen to let us know when a blooper is finished playing. Otherwise you're waiting in case they've only gone quiet for a second and you feel like a dafty. I don't want to seem like I'm ragging on Wadget Eye. How well I've done that job I'll leave to you lot to determine. With Shardlight they've done a great job yet a bloody again. It must be tricky keeping that level of quality up for as long as they have. And they aren't totally stuck on this formula. I've already mentioned giving the player choices other than do this or die. The company's expanded by a few people, which is technically a 100% increase for them, but still. To me that says slow, steady changes rather than we will entirely restructure our core centre and dynamically coagulate a new business paradigm focused on external strategic market symbiosis or some crap like that. I think this is a pretty great company who put out pretty great games and I'd like that to continue. But, as a gamer who's turning 30 this year, I know that same old don't last forever. Here's hoping for another 6 years. Whatever it may bring, I'm looking forward to it.